Hi everybody, Phil Aston here from the Now Spinning group even on Facebook. This isn't a album review as such. This is kind of a memory review. Seeing the posts by Ralph and Tim in the last couple of days about Heaven and Hell by Black Sabbath, it kind of reminded me of the album and the fact I went to see them in 1980, and I was lucky enough to even get my program signed by the whole band. So I thought I'd just go through my thoughts on the album itself and show you the program for those of you who may not have seen it. So here we go. I'm going to start with the album itself, which we all know, and this is the original on phonogram from 1980, with the back cover looking a bit like Long Live Rock and Roll by Rainbow. So it's a fantastic album, and obviously it's hard to describe what it was like being in Birmingham in the late 70s, 1980, and how popular Ozzy Osbourne is. And the fact that Ronnie James Dio had joined Sabbath was massive news, and people were just talking about it. You know, how could Ozzy be replaced? Even though Never Say Die was nowhere near up to the kind of quality that Sabbath had been producing, really. Even though that, and the fact that Dio was known from Rainbow Rising, this was still a massive deal in the world of rock, hard rock, heavy metal. And 1980 was a golden year for the genre of music, really. So, just going to swap over the camera this time, and hopefully it will stay within shot. So, I started my adventure with this album by buying this single, Neon Nights, which was backed with a live version of Children of the Sea. So this was my first the first thing I heard was Neon Nights, and for a start it was really fast for a Sabbath track, and it sounded very different. They sounded completely supercharged, and I was really excited about going to see them. And so I got my ticket, and here it is, for the rear circle, £3.50 on May the 25th, 1980. Now, a lot of my friends had managed to get tickets right down the front. I think there's fourth row from the front, and they managed to sneak me in and get me down the front. So although it says I was in the rear circle, I was able to watch the whole concert from literally a few feet away, from right being centre stage in front of Ronnie James Dio. And this was the album I'd bought and listened to before that, and it is one of Sabbath's best albums of all time. Neon Nights, Children of the Sea, Lady Evil, maybe quality drops a bit then, but the title track of Heaven and Hell is absolutely superb. 7 minutes of excellence. And side 2 with Wishing Well, Die Young, which is absolutely superb. Walk Away, quality drops a bit there, but Lonely is the Word. Probably features some of Tony Iommi's finest guitar playing ever. So I didn't buy the t-shirt, but I did buy the program, and here it is, and the Black Sabbath Heaven and Hell tour program from 1980 with the 2 dates. Here they played Birmingham, as I say, in May. They played 2 nights. They played on the Saturday night and also on the Sunday. So as I was catching the bus on the Sunday, people were going for the second night, saying what they'd thought of it. Now, I was very lucky to go backstage. Now, I don't know whether the camera will pick this up. I hope it does, and I might have to fiddle around with it. But they all signed the program. Tony Iommi on the far left, Bill Ward, and then Ronnie James Dio, and then Geezer Butler, but Love Geezer, on the other side. So I was absolutely thrilled to get my program signed by the whole band. And Ronnie James Dio was probably the guy I spoke to the most that night. And he was very concerned how we were going to get home, and it seemed a long way to go on the bus. It didn't to us, because we did it all the time. The Birmingham Odeon was a fantastic venue. The programme was typical of the time, lots of photographs. Bill Ward with the biggest drum kit in the entire world, and I'm sure he hit all of them at least once. Great picture there of the whole band together, Iommi and Dio. Ward. Seems odd looking at him without a beard. And then obviously a bit of bio talking about how great Sabbath were and the fact that this is a brand new start, which of course it was. And then the credits at the back and the lyrics from probably one of the finest songs they ever produced. So as the years have rolled by, the first time in 1996 I managed to upgrade this to CD was on this one, this version. I bet many of you out there have got this series of Sabbath reissues. I'm sure there might have been one before this, but this is the first one I bought. And it basically comes with the lyrics, which is handy because the original vinyl didn't. And a couple of the other tracks and stuff. And that did me very well. And then, a bit later on, these deluxe editions started to appear. Now, how many of you remember deluxe? When they said a CD deluxe, it actually came and felt deluxe because of this plastic outer protective sleeve, which has now been done away with for cost reasons, I presume. But this stopped the disc being squished in your Amazon parcel when it arrived, and it just had a feel of being a bit more luxurious, deluxe even. So this was the deluxe version, which I think you can still get with a fold out sleeve with the tour dates, etc. 2 discs. And again another booklet, but this one goes into far more detail than the other one. Although I think, if I remember rightly, at the expense of having no lyrics in it, which is why you need to keep the other one. But it's all good stuff. It's got the reviews from Kerrang at the time. And the tracks, this is a very good deluxe edition because disc 2 actually makes sense. It's not some bootleg quality live recording. It's actually the B-sides from the live tracks themselves. So you've got Children of the Sea, 6 minutes, Heaven and Hell, which is over 7 minutes, and the other tracks are also from live from that period, and it really is recommended. So that's Heaven and Hell. If there's anyone out there that's never heard this is the version to get, the 2-disc version. So I hope you enjoyed that. So that's Heaven and Hell. Fantastic concert and lots of memories for me, but it's its anniversary this week, so give it a spin. Okay, see you soon.